This business owner has got a swapping time for money business, but also a huge Facebook group with hundreds of thousands of people in. He's been told he can make £1.5 million from this Facebook group by adding on a podcast. I think it's a load of old tosh. I'm going to give him the real reality that he needs so that he does the right things to make some decent money. Take a watch. Hello, campers. Welcome back to Business Broadcast. Hello, JB.
Hi there. I love the fact you've just left your merch here.
Well, these are
from the previous episodes. Yeah, that's nice, isn't it?
Have you ever thought about writing a book?
Do you know what? I have.
Have you? Are you going to do it?
I think I am. Yeah, I'm going to do one about how to launch a podcast. And then I'm going to
Boring. I know that's what you do.
And then I'm going to launch. Well, what should I do one about then?
Being an international sex god.
Oh, I could do, couldn't I? That'd be a very short book.
Yeah. Actually, I've got some questions. Let's ask the audience.
Wow.
If James Burt should write a book, what do you want it to be about? And if you want James Sinclair to, I'm going to write another book this year.
Are you? This year? How are you going to find time for that?
Well, in the next 12 months.
Oh, okay, fine.
What
are we going to write another one about? You've covered it all here, haven't you?
No. I was thinking about doing one on buying businesses, M&A.
Oh, you should do that.
Mergers and acquisitions.
Yes, because I think you need to double down in that. Because there's so many people. There's
charlatans.
Yeah. Because there's
selling people down a path, and I can actually teach people the right stuff.
We are involved in a private Facebook chat group, and it went off yesterday, didn't it? Did you see all that? And it was like all these different names coming up. I'm thinking none of them have got my experience.
No,
exactly. And all of them, they make their money from teaching people how to buy a business. I don't know any of them that have actually done it.
And I'm doing it every week.
Yeah, literally every week.
Yeah. So I was thinking about that.
I think you should.
I would love, my favourite book would be to do one like this first one that I wrote, The Millionaire Clown, when I was 27. It's got my sort of rules for business, and I'd love to expand on that. And, because 12 years on. Yeah. So that's the one I really want to write. The one
with stuff like E plus M equals S? Like business and life philosophy?
Yeah.
Fancy yourself as a bit of a Tony Robbins, do you?
Bougie, isn't it? But I would like...
No, I think it's good.
I read. That's the one I would most like to. I'd also like to do the M&A one. The reality is, I'm probably going to do both. I'll try and get now I've got this one out. I need to work on the next one because I just think it makes you smarter writing. I
remember you were going to start that one when I started working with you. I was like, I wonder if I'm going to feature in it. Surefire way of not featuring in it. Leave.
There's a whole chapter on here of why James Burt is just no.
Get rid of flaky fills.
So should I write one on mergers and acquisitions?
Ask the audience. That's a better use of people's time. What am I going to write about? Crap jingles.
No. One on
which I've been told off for in the last episode, in between episodes, because Chud's like, I recognise that. We're going to get pulled down from YouTube for that. So we might only be able to use this for like 5 episodes. You should do that. What would you like Jim to write a book about?
Mergers and acquisitions, buying businesses, or one about
life philosophies.
The business rules.
Business rules?
Yeah. Should be life, business, personal development.
Yeah, okay.
All of mine.
We do at the end of BMC.
Yeah, the
you go
quotes.
Like, on this, on that, on that.
Yeah.
That, I think, would be
that's exactly it, yeah.
Right, okay, fine. So, I'm in for that.
So
I'm one vote for life and business.
It will be, hang on a sec.
Oh, he's got the slides here.
Yeah, I've got them here. These are my...
Now, when you write it down, do you do it in the voice of Jim Rohn as you're ripping him all off?
Investing in you is crucial. Here's what you need to do. So I would do meeting eagles as possible, as often. On
what?
The importance
say
of
that
mindset.
again. Say that.
Meeting eagles.
Yeah, because you could see the screen, but for everyone else, you just went, oh yeah, there's eagles.
Yeah, mindset.
That's a good one.
Failure,
the
regret.
The TV library one. Say that quote to him.
Momentum. We're not doing interesting fact or quote.
Could be. Do you want to do it quickly? Go
Come on then, let's do it. Let's see.
Interesting quote or fact.
Inadvertently.
Interesting quote or fact. Interesting quote or fact. It's time for the
interesting quote or fact of the week. Thank you, Pavarotti. I'm going to go for quote then. Poor people. I think we've done this already.
I know, but it is so good.
I'm going to have to do another one. Poor people have big TVs. Rich people have big libraries.
That is so true.
That is...
Don't say that one.
No, we've done that one as well. So this is the follow-up quote to this.
Okay.
Which is a Jim Rohn one. An education will make you a living. A self-education will make you a fortune.
Do you believe in that?
Which is?
Do you believe in that?
Absolutely.
What do you do to personally develop? What have you done in the last week to personally develop yourself?
Write books, go on podcasts, listen to podcasts, go and speak at conferences, write articles. I write the James Sinclair Letter every week, which you can access for free.
Where?
7 a.m. every Monday in your inbox.
How do they get it?
Sign up to my letter on my website, jamessinclair.net.
How much does it cost, though?
It's free.
You're kidding me.
I'm not.
You are joking. 7 a.m. and I get a freebie out of Sinclair. Straight off the bat. I like the fact that your newsletter gets out of bed before you do on a Monday.
I'm awake at 6:30. I've got children, mate.
Really? I thought
I'm not out of bed at 7, though. Quarter past. There we go.
People who get out of bed not on the hour or half hour just freak me out. Like, why do you not just get up at 7? Oh, I need that extra little 15. Oh, it just makes me, it's like an ick.
I'll tell you what it does here as well, though. I love this one as well. You cannot change the destination overnight, but you can change the direction.
That is good. Got any more up your sleeve? You wanna?
I've got quite a few here, yeah.
But I actually think that book, not just the quotes, but the on thing that you did on this, on purpose, on life, on family, that would be a really good book.
Yeah, that's it. On mentors and advisors, the formula for change.
Oh, that's what you should call it. The formula for change. That's a great name of a book.
Oh, that's a good name.
That is his name, isn't it? Copyright James Sinclair. No one nick it. No one nick it.
On fear of failure, luck helps, but only if you don't seek it. Oh, come on, the bangers. The bangers on the business broadcast. The bangers.
That's true. It's very true. But this is, to your point about the M&A book, though, as well, there's not many people who I think...
I'm going to be doing both, but
think
basically...
as deeply as you do and have got the results. Because there's loads of people, and I'll be honest, I think there's people who are out there who are better at marketing themselves as the experts in the space than you are. Because they play the paid ads game, which you will not play.
Because I'm bloody busy.
Yeah, doing the actual thing. So those people are like, oh, come onto my...
Do you know, Mark Creaser, me and Chuds, let's just bring Chuds in here. Mark Creaser said, I think, because I said proudly at Business Masterclass, I said, we have filled this room, no ads. It's all people that watch our content, that love us and do all the good stuff. And Mark Creaser went, I think you made a big mistake there. And I thought maybe he's right. And then me and Chuds had a discussion about it. What do you think? I think Mark Creaser's wrong. We think it's better to have quality people that love us. Chuds, it's an audio show, so you're going to have to give us...
I agree. What do you want me to say?
Well, nodding. The audience can't see you nodding.
Do you know what? If everyone's ever thought, what is it that keeps James Sinclair? He's got 1,200 staff, 40 million quid turnover. What keeps him grounded? That. The person he spends his most time with couldn't care less about his nonsense. What do you want me to say? I
came in a T-shirt the other day saying, you're a knob. Picture of me.
No, I just echo what you said, so I agree. Yeah.
But for audio, we do need you to say that. What do you think? Should we? Oh, see, you're on the fence, aren't you?
I am.
I think Chuds and we believe that.
I know what you believe. I know what you believe.
It's good for our ego as well. We can say, look, hundreds of people in here, we haven't paid a penny for them.
If you start paying for people in the room, the margin of the tickets disappears.
For that,
the quality of the people in the room changes. No one in there knows who you are. It's not as warm. It becomes much more formal and corporate, and it would be a totally different event.
Yeah.
And that's what he thinks.
We have
and now I've been grounded by Chuds.
To summarise it in a phrase, we have a proprietary audience. They are proprietary to our content. They're proprietary to YouTube. They're proprietary to our language. All of them have similarities. They're all hungry, ambitious people.
Serious business owners.
Yeah,
as well.
I think we would probably bring in solopreneurs and wannabe-preneurs that have got a bit of money that just want to see if they can learn the hacks. Well, we're not a hack, but we're not a get-rich-quick style stuff, where in fact we dissatisfy people by telling people this is really hard, this game you're going on.
And it takes a long time.
It takes a long time.
It takes 10 years.
It takes 10 years.
Yeah. Okay.
So would you be doing ads, yay or nay?
I would be doing retargeting ads. So I wouldn't go looking for cold audience. I'd be looking for your warm. I'd be nudging and reminding your warm audience.
That's called a weekly YouTube video.
Oh, look at him. Chances. That's called 2 podcasts a week and a weekly newsletter.
Chuds, everybody. It's time for the interesting Chuds of the week. Hey, talking of interesting facts or quote of the week, though. Here's what I've got for you this week. I've got some facts. So because we're talking about the gardening industry,
how have you got that? You've never played that jingle on any of the podcasts we've done together, and you just had that ready to go.
I'm just always ready. I'm just always for any eventuality. Like if you say something like completely exceptional, And I think you're like a fairy godfather of entrepreneurship. But I think you've said particularly humorous. I'm pretty much ready for anything. Sometimes you'll say something that doesn't land well. Crickets. I'm good for about 8 jingles. That's what I'm good for. But what I have got in terms of interesting fact or quote of the week. So because we talk about the industry, the horticulture industry.
Yep.
Did you know? ChatGPT help me with this one. Did you know that the horticulture industry? In fact, what amount do you think it contributes in terms of fiscally to the UK economy, GDP?
What I need to know what's included in it. Is it just selling plants?
No, it's plants, vegetables, fruit, and ornamental plants. Fruits, vegetables, and ornamental plants.
Billions.
Okay, I need a number. What do you reckon?
I think
he's going to land it. Oh, let's see if we can be telepathic because we know how each other think now. Look into my eyes. I'm going to tell you the answer. Look into my eyes.
Let me just...
No, don't Google it.
70 million.
E plus M equals S. Eggplants plus mushrooms equals satisfaction. What did that come to then?
I know, but
1.7 E.
I'm going to go 2 billion. No, 3 billion. 3 billion.
It's 5 billion.
Oh, you didn't ask Chuds.
Oh, well, Chuds.
5 billion.
5 billion is correct. Congratulations, Chuds. You are absolutely correct. This is just for you.
It's not a bad guess. Come on.
It's
come on. I was only 2 billion out.
Okay, so as a way to get yourself back in here, what would you say is the largest part of the industry is the edible horticulture, so vegetables and fruits. What is this is so tenuous. What is the biggest contributing vegetable to the economic product in this country? The biggest vegetable, GDP. Come on, Sinclair, you got this.
Potato.
Oh, he says potato. I like it. Michael Chudley, the biggest GDP contributing vegetable. And people have never listened to this podcast before. They're not going back,
carry
on. Come on.
Potato.
Oh.
I was going to say something different.
Chudley.
I was going to say or tomato.
Oh, tomato, potato.
Potato, tomato.
I'm afraid, guys, it is the carrot. Oh, well done, guys. It's so close. There's an opportunity. There's an opportunity.
Sorry, let's just stop here. Let's just quickly ask around. Judge, when did you last eat a carrot? Just what? In the last 7 days, how many carrots have you eaten, and how many
None.
potatoes have you eaten?
I had some this morning.
Yeah, exactly. We ate a lot of
but your
potatoes.
potatoes this morning, that was a sweet potato. It looked like a carrot. It's a carrot in disguise. That's a carrot in disguise, friend.
Right, there we go.
Final thing before we move on from this section, by the way, guys. What is the biggest GDP contributing fruit? It's your opportunity to make a comeback here, guys. Michael Chudley.
Tomato.
Oh, I like what he's done there because people are going, he said tomato. It is because it's got a seed. You're correct. James Sinclair.
But they're cheap, aren't they?
Biggest GDP.
I'm going to go apple.
You're going apple. James Sinclair. You are correct. Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's the quiz that nobody wanted or asked for.
There we go. Right, on to the main point of this podcast to help business owners grow their business. Thanks for interesting fact or quote of the week.
Yeah, no worries.
We're now speaking to Marcus. Tell us about the business.
Oh my God, we've not even told anyone about the business. We're 15 minutes in. Sorry. Right. Okay. So it is doing, $6,000 a month now. When he applied to be on about a few months ago, he was doing 45 grand. So he's gone up £1,000. Good news, going in the right direction. Has he got any staff members? Yes, he's got one that is working full-time on the business, and apparently he has got one part-time. The biggest challenge, now this is like War and Peace, but I'm going to read it because I think it is important-ish. So, if I can. So the biggest challenge is I've built a Facebook group in the gardening niche of shade gardening to over at the time of submitting, it was 222,000. It's just under 300,000. 300,000 members. They're mostly in the USA. I need to monetize this group. I've set up a private members group to offer direct access to myself, but no one is joining the group. It is only £5 per month or VIP for £15. Now, you said in the intro to this podcast episode, he's been and got some advice, quote unquote, and they've told him it's worth £1.5 million, this group, but he can't get anyone to sign up for a fiver. So that is one of the challenges.
Let's just, before we go any further.
Yes.
There's 3 of us here. Chuds is off camera. When did you last pay for access to a Facebook group?
Never.
Never. Chuds, have you ever paid for access to a Facebook group?
Never.
Never.
What was the last membership thing you signed up for?
Netflix.
No, like an information type thing. So like an EU, like an entrepreneurs university. Which you can try free for 14 days now. JamesSinclair.net.
Never.
Have you not?
Not for a
No,
long.
I suppose you. No, okay, makes sense. You wouldn't.
Never.
And that's what I
Really?
mean about everyone that thinks that they can just set up memberships.
Yeah,
subscription
yes,
businesses.
that's interesting.
It is one of the hardest things to do.
Yes.
Close to impossible.
Entrepreneurs University, just for context. So you've got what? 250,000 followers across all of your different stuff now, probably?
Something like that, I suppose, yeah. Yeah.
Probably get millions of impressions per month. This podcast gets 100,000 downloads / views per month.
Yeah.
I know if you've never listened to it before, you've just listened to a vegetable quiz. You're like, how many people listen to this? It's normally better, guys. But you've got a subscription
It's
sort of
very
thing,
difficult. It's very
and you've only ever
difficult.
have a couple hundred members. And
People are signing up to my Entrepreneurs University because they think they're going to make profit from the facts they're going to get from it. Yeah. So I'm going to pay 60. What is it? What is Entrepreneurs University?
50 quid.
Yeah,
Less
it's
than a
50
Nike to grow your business.
Yeah. £50 a month to grow your business. And you're going to learn some stuff that will
Make you money.
make you lots of money very, very quickly. Hobbyist stuff, £5 and £15 a month, very difficult.
It's a harder sell, isn't it?
Very difficult.
People want information if it is, they perceive it to be, the route to more money. And even then, it is still a hard sell, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Martin's got this group. It's between 5 and 15 quid, and he's not having many people sign up to it.
Well, I think the answer is none.
Well, no. He's also, so he set up a podcast because whoever gave him the information told him to set up a podcast because then it'd be worth £1.5 million. He talk about setting up a second podcast. It's all a little bit confusing. We'll find out more information. He's also set up a second group, I think, for the Cotswold Gardener to help generate more business opportunities. He's about to invest in a camera, teleprompter, create YouTube videos, etc. Second biggest challenge is the garden maintenance business, which I run as a sole trader. Is currently at capacity. I'm well known locally. I've established a gardening club of over 2,000 members on Facebook, and I've been featured in Cotswold Life. Despite the demand, I keep turning work down because I need to develop the business and hire staff. My concern is whether I can generate enough work to pay my new employees. It's a bit of a chicken and an egg situation. So there's about another 50 lines of text here, but we haven't got time for it. So third biggest challenge, to expand, I can focus on domestic customers, ideally targeting high ticket clients who require year-round gardening services. Cheltenham offers plenty of possibilities in this market. Alternatively, I could move into the commercial realm with a ground maintenance company. However, this would require significant investment in the equipment up front. I think we probably just need to have a chat. Don't worry about these different challenges.
I've already got some ideas on what I would do if this is mine, because he has got a following and an interactive Facebook group. Mm-hmm. I think he's going around it in the wrong way.
Oh, let's get him on. Should we get him on?
Hey gang, we're going back to the pod in just a moment, but I wanted to tell you about Entrepreneurs University. This is a platform that I've created for entrepreneurs and business owners that are serious about growth. There's 100 video lessons from me on everything in business, raising finance, buying companies, property investment, and everything in between. Attached to each video is a downloadable PDF that goes into more detail about what we've learned in the video. It goes one step further than that because I've also put stuff that you won't get anywhere else onto Entrepreneurs University. The lessons go into way more detail, but not just that. You're going to get my business plans, my spreadsheets, and all the files that I use to drive the KPIs in my business. Just think about how powerful that could be for your business. And here's the good news. You can try Entrepreneurs University for free. 14-day free trial. After that, it will cost you just $49.99 a month. That's less than a pair of Nikes to grow the profitability in your business. There's a link in the video description, and I cannot wait to see you in Entrepreneurs University.
Let's do it. Let's get him on. Marcus, hello there. Thank you for being on the podcast. Very much appreciated. Give us a quick summary, mate, because we might have slightly butchered some facts and figures, but just tell us where you and the business are at right now so the listener understands, mate.
No, I think you've summed it up quite nicely. I listened to one of your recent podcasts related to the membership schemes from one of your podcasts you recorded obviously a few months ago. And yeah, I kind of realised the fact of what you said. It's kind of a pointless kind of activity. So the sense of trying to run a membership scheme probably has gone out the window already before we even started recording, really. This maintenance business is going really well, but it is a chicken and egg scenario. I need to get off the tools to go out there and sell some more. But obviously trying to find staff is a bit of a challenge, the ones that I can trust and actually will follow instructions, etc. Trying to go into the commercial world, obviously there's a lot of costs involved in going into commercial maintenance of gardens and parks, although I do have a couple of parish councils look after their playing fields. So yeah, does kind of really kind of sums everything up, really.
Well, so basically, it's a swapping time for money business by doing gardening work. You
Yeah.
want to turn it into a commercially profitable enterprise that's a sellable asset. What is the Facebook group called? So people can go and check it out.
Shade gardening.
Shade Gardening. And this is the one that's got 250,000 people. A big chunk of them are in America, yeah?
Yeah, it's got 299,000 people in the group as of today. Off that 299,500, and around about 176,000 of those in the US, and I get around about 171,000 active members and up to 3 million interactions a week.
Yeah. I think if this was mine, I would do a YouTube channel. I would do a podcast. I would do that and then carry on doing it. And eventually you get sponsorships and you create products that would make gardening easier, that you white label against, that you can drop ship on Amazon, that you use in your gardening. And that could be a quite nice business. So you've got the best gloves, the best trowel, the best spade, the best. And that so you don't have to buy the products. I would affiliate link with someone else first. And that they pay you an amount up front to mention the products, but you actually use them and then you get a cut of every sale. I reckon you could build $100,000 a year doing that if you, with the following you've got.
Funny you mention that, because I reached out and I sent hundreds of emails, and a couple of US companies got back to us, one of them being one of the largest providers of plants in the US, who will do ship nationwide across the United States.
Yeah. Oh, and all of that stuff. I think about your, being international though, where possible. If you make really good content, and YouTube and podcasts are the ones, look, we always say here, long form content funds your bank account, short form content, which is Facebook and Instagram, funds your ego. If you had 300,000 people on a YouTube channel compared to 300,000 people on a Facebook page, the difference would be a huge bank account.
Yeah, I can hear that.
So, and podcasts similar. Arguably, I mean, JB knows all the facts on podcasts, but arguably, I mean, I think YouTube still is, because of the interactions YouTube can give you over a podcast. But you put your podcast on YouTube anyway, so I suppose you can have the best of both worlds. But people are listening to podcasts a lot, aren't they, as well, in terms of length of time?
Yeah. They will listen to 80% of an episode, and the average episode is between 30 and 45 minutes. So you've got a lot of time with people, but also the great thing about what you're doing is that you could talk to your audience while they're doing their hobby. So it's almost, podcasts are a great secondary medium, and people will generally be doing something else at the same time. So there's not a lot of people that will sit down and just consume a podcast in a quiet corner, sat in a nice, comfortable chair. What a life that would be, though. They are in the gym, they're on a commute, they're in the garden, they're doing the washing up, whatever it may be. It's a secondary medium, but you can talk. The fact that it is a secondary medium is actually to your benefit, given the market that you could potentially talk to, because they could be doing the thing you're talking about while you're talking to them. That could be super powerful. Great USP for your content as well.
And the other thing as well is a newsletter. Sorry, you go first.
Yeah, there's about 28 million gardeners according to the RHS in the UK alone. So the market is quite significant.
Oh, absolutely. And hobbyist gardeners are hungry for more information.
It's got its own subcategory on podcasts.
Yeah.
It's its own category. So there's definitely a
This
market
is why
for
I
it.
did it, because there is no one doing talking about the shade. Everyone talks about the garden as a whole, like some of the large podcasts, and they all focus on vegetables, or they focus on things that grow in the sun, and there's no one talking about the things that grow in those difficult places in the garden.
Well, I didn't get that. That's why it's called shade. I thought that was something to do with your surname.
No, nothing to do with my surname. It's basically to do with dealing with the problem of, we all have those shady spots in our garden under trees and against fence ties and buildings where nothing grows and looks really poor.
Yep.
And it's focusing on that kind of area, basically.
Well, look, there's a number of things that now get me very excited here. We always talk about a hungry audience being really the foundations of actually building a brilliant business. If you know there's a hungry audience for something, then you're going to win all the days long. You have tested the market by seeing a highly active Facebook group so that you know there's an audience for it.
Yeah.
If you then go onto YouTube and do video lessons on YouTube and promote your YouTube channel in the Facebook group and get them over to YouTube, and then also do a weekly newsletter. I do a weekly newsletter, which you can...
I've just signed up for it.
Yeah. So I think all of those things together, you'll start getting sponsorships and offers, and
Huge.
people will pay for attention, and they will pay well for attention. I think it'd be difficult to sell it though. I'm not 100% sure it'd be difficult, but you could probably generate a nice income from it. The reason it'd be difficult to sell it is because it should, and it will be based around your personality. Because you'll be making the content, you're the videos, it's going to be very hard to sell Alan Titchmarsh. It's his personality, for example, that makes people, but that's okay. If you're making enough money, there's 4 ways to wealth. Number 1 is income. Number 2 is business. Number 3 is assets. Number 4 is married, death, divorce. I've always said income is the most highly taxed way of generating wealth, and you need to be a celebrity to do very well out of it. But actually you can be. I know YouTubers that are making millions of pounds. They are unicorns. They are the exception to the rule. But the ones that are making money, they build a niche following. They know what they're talking about. They're good at making the content. They have charisma. They're consistent, and they choose the right channels to talk about it on.
Hundreds of thousands of views for shade garden tips on YouTube. There's definitely an appetite for it. Definitely.
Chuds, come on. What would you do? Do you think?
Oh, here we go.
Come on, Chuds is
Get the
got
mark.
Yeah,
Master.
YouTube, absolutely, yeah.
There we go. That's that.
What do you want, like 4 hours of YouTube consultancy and a 1 hour podcast? I don't know. What do you want me to say?
Sure. Yeah, just do YouTube then. That's the answer to that.
It's easier to have this conversation once he makes 25 YouTube videos and then critique from there.
Oh, Jesus. He's spiky, isn't he? I like him.
Spiky.
I like him. Yeah, that whole advice that you've been given about making the podcast and then it's worth X amount of money as a sellable asset, I'm not sure. I'm with Jim on that one. I'm not sure that is the correct information. But what I think you will do is I've just gone onto YouTube and straight away I've got served up 3 adverts. And when you go onto each of those videos, there will be the niches that are already advertising, that are doing what you call a pre-roll to the video. And you could look at those companies and then go and approach them. The challenge that you got with the Facebook group, and this is why I don't think it's actually worth anywhere near what that, the expert, quote unquote, advice is being given to you. It is very hard to move people from Facebook groups to other places, which is why there is such a low value on having a community on Facebook in terms of, an equivalent CPM, which is why no one will buy a Facebook group. Number 1, you don't own it because Zuckerberg owns it. Effectively, you've built a house on sand because you don't own the sand pit. And secondly, moving them from anywhere else. I had a client who had...
Do you do motivational speaks?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. But here's the spin. I had a client who did a podcast. They had 500,000 followers on Facebook. And when they tried to convert them across to a podcast, it ended up being like 2,500, 3,000 listens. So people don't convert as easily, but because it's a mega niche that you're in, you might find it. But again, what Jim's saying about the YouTube video, the newsletter and the podcast, then you would have a massive audience there. And I don't think you need to sell it. You just need to sell the ability to sell to that audience, or like Jim said, do affiliate links, which a lot of companies have already got affiliate links. You don't even have to broker a deal with them up front. You can just send the traffic to them or white label the products. I think that's a great move potentially. and then would
Cool.
give you enough income that you could focus on what you really want to do. What is it you really? What's the dream outcome? If we could wave a magic wand, in what does life look like in 18 months' time? Are you actually growing the gardening company, or are you just doing the sort of the content thing? What would you want really?
I like to teach. I like to teach. I like to explain. I like to get the information out there. I do really love working in the gardens, but I'm now the wrong side of 50, so I need to start thinking about retirement. And my body starts to say no more, thank you very much. So I want to utilize the skills that are in my head and get them out there and help other people.
Well, that's the art. You get a videographer and make videos every day.
Okay. All right. That sounds cool. I like that.
I think you do very well at it, and you already have proved that there is an audience for it. Which
Yeah,
is
definitely.
That's the most important part.
But there's normally, I don't think there was any questions that you'd submitted when you applied to be on the podcast. So have you got any specific questions around sort of growing the content side of things or the business side of things that you'd like to ask Jim, or has this just been a dose of reality, really?
Just on the service business, the garden maintenance business. Obviously, I'm happy to go door to door. I've got a load of leaflets printed off, and so on and so forth. So I'm happy to do that. My chicken and egg scenario is obviously people, like you say, the business is built around myself and my knowledge and my skills. And obviously having staff, obviously it's not me doing the work. And my problem is trying to find good enough staff to basically meet my standards and present the gardens the way I want the gardens presented.
You have to train them. If you don't train your team, you don't gain from your team. And constant training. Get this book, Dream Team, that I've just wrote it. There's loads of tips and tricks in there on how to get the most out of your team. 20 minutes training a day. Look, in a business where they're going to be shadowing you for a long time, they're going to learn the good stuff. You're going to have a chef de partie and you're the head chef. And the chef de partie learns from the head chef from reps and sets. What lots of business owners do is they employ someone, put them out to pasture and go, well, why are they not as good as me? Well, you've had 10,000 hours of practice, Sunshine. That's why you're good. And people need lots of training to get the most out of them.
Okay, that sounds like, okay. What's the book called again? Dream Team, did you say?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, send us an email. My team will send it to you with my compliments for being on the podcast.
Oh, that's very much appreciated. Thank you.
So the person that organised the pod, the email, just reply back and we will sort that out.
Of course. Yeah, no problem at all. Can I ask one other question?
Yeah, go for it, baby.
On the commercial side of things, because commercial contracts, doing like parks and industrial parks and things like that, obviously there's a lot of margin in those kind of contracts. Would I be best at continue to focus on the high-end kind of clientele for homeowners rather than going into commercial? Because obviously the commercial contracts have a huge asset requirement, first of all, and I don't have enough backing on myself to be able to provide reassurances for buying the equipment, for example.
So you just answered your own question.
Oh.
I mean,
okay,
would I do it? Yeah, I absolutely would, because I have all
I know you would.
faith in myself to go and do it. But if you are scared about that, then you can't come on here and I think you've got a lot going on. I think follow one course until successful, and you haven't got a massive team. You're not like me that's got 1,200 people that can spin many plates. You're not, get that first member of staff trained up so you've got absolute faith in them. They're doing a really great job, and that's all tickety-boo. Then get the content thing sorted, and then if you got some money and you feel like you got more faith. I mean, if someone comes to you and says, here's a 3-year contract, it's belts and braces, then maybe you should go for it. But then again, you have to get uncomfortable, get comfortable feeling uncomfortable.
Oh yeah. So basically, you to sum up, basically I'm going in the right direction regarding the interactions in the social media side of things.
Well, no, I don't know. I think I think it's going to be very hard to monetize it.
No. I wasn't saying about monetizing. I've got the audit, so I've got a proof of concept.
Yeah.
So going forward to producing the YouTube videos, etc., that is the way forward then, yeah?
Well, that's what I do, and that's what I believe.
Okay.
I think getting a videographer out to follow you for a day and just see what you do would be amazingly powerful, and you get really good at explaining to a camera what it is that you're doing and why. And then again, the benefit to the team member that you've got with you at the moment, they would watch you presenting that on camera. They would learn from your expertise. I think that could be really good. I'd also look for like an agricultural college and see if is there like
that's a great idea.
There is one locally
traineeship.
to here,
Yeah, I imagine there would be in Cheltenham. So
That's such a good idea.
go and
Can you give yourself a jingle for that?
yeah. Hang on a second.
that is
Sorry,
such a good
sorry.
idea.
Just hold on there.
Just
for a
while
second,
he's
Marcus.
looking for the jingle to
Yep.
applause himself.
Fantastic. I've done good there. Brilliant.
There was something else I was
Distracted yourself now.
on YouTube. The most important thing on YouTube is the titles and the thumbnails and the first 30 seconds of video. Lot that we're going to give you complete YouTube advice here, but that first 30 seconds can't be a load of piffle, paffle, waffle, because no one's going to carry on watching the video unless they really know, like, and trust you. Assume they don't. So what are you going to teach them in the first 30 seconds? In this video, you're going to get X, Y, and Z, and this is how we're going to do it, right? Okay. And then the title and the thumbnail align to that first 30 seconds. Make sure you get that right, because otherwise you could be disappointed by uploading your first video. No one watches it because it hasn't got a good title and thumbnail. The first 30 seconds are a load of waffle. The best thing that I can ever implore onto anyone that starts a YouTube channel is to think like a newspaper editor. Think you're running a newspaper. What's the headline and what's the article of that headline that's going to make people read the headline, read the article? Headlines sell newspapers, and headlines and thumbnails get people to click on YouTube videos. And then you got to make sure your sub-headline, if you like, the first 30 seconds of the video is the most important part of the video. Then people go, right, I know what I'm going to get now. And then, you do make lots and lots of them, and you get better and better.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, good.
I think it's a content marketing game. Marcus, that is the game that you have to play, my friend.
And yeah.
And already
The
playing
service business is doing well. It's ticking over nicely. So yeah. Okay, thank you. Appreciate
Brilliant.
your time.
Thank you. Thanks for being on, Marcus.
Thank you, Marcus.
No problem at all.
Where can people go and find more information if they are in the Cheltenham area and they need their garden looked after, their lawn made lovely, their trees tinkered with?
Yeah, if the trees tinkered with. Right. The best place to get hold of me is probably going to be on my website or my Facebook group, not my Facebook page, which is Marcus Bergen Gardening.
Marcus Bergen Gardening. Lovely. Thank you for being on the pod, Marcus. We appreciate it. Have a great day. Thank you, mate.
No problem at all. Thank you.
Great
Cheers.
stuff. There you go. Marcus, all the way from Cheltenham. That's a nice part of the world, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Cotswolds is just lovely as well. Just interesting what we was talking about there, podcasts, and putting podcasts on YouTube has become an essential, hasn't it?
Yes.
Like
100%.
So important.
Yes.
And I think we are, or certainly I am guilty of putting them in the same bracket, but they really are in the same bracket now, aren't they?
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast literally today on the drive up with Cal Freezy, who is one of the sidemen back in the day. He was the big YouTuber gang. Was he one of the sidemen, Chuds?
Friends with
One of my clients.
Oh, of course they were, yes.
Yeah.
So they've done a deal with them.
Sorry, one of their clients was one of my clients.
Yes.
Years ago, yeah.
And
months ago.
he was talking about it today, and they were saying what's more important. He said, I think they're both important. They're both equally important in terms of a CPM, so cost per mille. So how much you can get advertising wise, you can actually get more from a podcast, but you're going to drive the attention via things like video.
It's really interesting as well. When this started as a audio only podcast for 4 or 5 years, and then we've put it onto YouTube when I started doing it with you in
January.
My God, it's really
nearly
the months have
flown by.
As we're doing this in October now, and I was really worried about the cannibalization of the audio. So Spotify and Apple Podcasts mainly. No, not at all.
It's just a new audience. Yeah.
There's both are so important.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
The challenge that someone like Marcus is going to have really is getting people off that Facebook group.
I think though, if you tell people that I've made a newsletter, I think newsletters as well. Let's put that in there. Very, very powerful.
Yeah.
If people,
Especially at the moment, they're having a real resurgence, aren't they? I'm
Yeah,
seeing
yeah.
it everywhere at the moment.
but most people are naff at it. So if you can actually do a good job and learn copywriting, and we always say this, by the way, that Chuds and I always talk about this, and more so than ever, we're saying that if you learn copywriting, you're better at YouTube and you're better at podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
That the beginning of this podcast, sometimes we re-record at the end to really grab people in to make sure we get that headline. So really, what you're getting served up when you're listening to our podcast or watching it on YouTube is you get the headline of the video.
Yeah.
Another headline embedded into the thumbnail, which is the picture that you see on YouTube. And then you're getting a sub-headline when you watch it or listen to it for the first 30 seconds of what you're going to get out of spending time with us.
And the title as well. So you've got title, thumbnail, first 30 seconds are all like
headline, title, headline.
Absolutely essential.
Yeah.
And I think what's important as a creator is do all of your editing and all that kind of stuff, and then take a step back and honestly say to yourself, would this make me click? Because there's so many people.
Well, actually, that's a funny thing as well. Chuds, can you just get Chuds in?
He's in.
Just remember what he was talking about. So we always, at Business Masterclass, we always put a picture up of episode 5 of Business Broadcast. So on our
I've got a real thing like this, haven't you?
On our main YouTube channel.
Go back and look at it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, on our main, if you go back to the original channel, so just James Sinclair on YouTube, you'll see that episodes 1 to 80.
I'll just put it on screen, right? And
Put it on.
Oh, here it goes. It's just,
people don't have to go anywhere.
What can't he do?
What can't he do?
Nothing.
So we called it, so you're seeing now, we called it episode 005. Funny, I was talking to Mark Reeser about it. He said, you had ambitions of getting to 1,000 then because we called it episode 005, which we have probably done now in terms of amount of videos, or more than that. And we called it Red Trousers. And I knew about copywriting back then.
Yeah.
But I forgot. It took us a number of, how many years did it get, Chuds, before we started getting good at the copy on YouTube?
Maybe just after COVID.
Yeah.
So 2021, 2022, we started considering.
So it's
4 years.
A few years, isn't it? Yeah.
4 years before we thought, hey.
And you're a good marketer. And he's a good video editor. So between the two of
Chuds
you.
knows. Well, and when we was doing it in, when we was doing it in 2017, in the days before we ran this business, so I had another one called Entrepreneurs Network. Mark Reeser, who is an outstanding copywriter, even he didn't go, hang on a sec, no one's going to watch a video called Red Trousers.
Yeah. Because people didn't know back then. Like, we've got to think, we're looking at that with the context of 2024 goggles on. But now everyone is talking about titles and thumbnails and stuff. But at the time, it was just another thing to do, wasn't it?
No, I disagree with you there.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Tell me why.
Only people that know
fighting
talk about that. Only people that know.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
You're around us, and because we're talking about that all the time. But people that start a YouTube channel green or a podcast green, like from a start, they would go, "Oh, we've got a personality, so everyone's going to listen to us," and that's what I did.
Yeah,
whether you believe I've got a personality or not, but
I think that's fair to say.
There's a certain level of confidence. I thought, well, my confidence will get the views. No.
And you already had a following, didn't you? That's the thing. You already had a bit of a following
to a degree, but nothing like now.
No.
But even now, like we can see. So on YouTube, this is where YouTube beats podcasting, in my opinion, is the data it gives back to you to make you better.
Yeah,
is infinitely better, isn't it, than Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Very handy, and you can see if your title and thumbnail is good. But maybe that's what we didn't get in the beginning, was it, Chance? Was YouTube as good as that back in 2017, giving you like click-through rates and data like it does now?
Not like it does now, but it was certainly there for you to improve. It was easy to manage. We just didn't know what we were looking at.
I feel like I want to defend that early content though, because I loved it.
Yeah,
Backstage business, I thought was brilliant. A guy was basically like shout at you for 15 minutes in red trousers while he's going around a play centre in Ipswich.
But this is coming from a man.
Come on, let's go.
This is coming from a man that has got a soundboard and jingles that he knows off by heart.
Absolutely. I think back to those times. To those heady times. Hey, talking about soundboards and jingles. I know what you're thinking, guys. Well, that was a lovely episode. Is it over? No, we're only about halfway through. Oh, we haven't done that bit either yet. Hang on, you got to do your 8 traits of the greats. Go on, do that first.
Here we go. We're doing 8 traits of the great entrepreneurs as we grade our guests as they come here on the show. Starting with the end in mind.
No.
Passionate about their cause.
Yes.
Untold amounts of resilience.
We don't know.
They master relationships with people.
We don't know.
Number 5, commercial awareness.
No.
Number 6, they innovate so they don't evaporate.
No.
They're master marketeers.
No.
They stay teachable and curious.
Yeah.
2 out of 8.
That's all right. Who cares? He's having a lovely life. He lives in Cheltenham. He's outside in the fresh air, in the soil,
Cotswolds.
and his hands in the dirt.
Could have
doing
something very good
proper
there.
work. He
Could have something very good there.
I think, like I say, I don't think his model should be selling memberships. It should be selling stuff to your members.
Exactly. I really want it to be the 9 traits of great entrepreneurs. How good is the model?
Yes.
But it isn't. It's 8 because
Yeah.
it rhymes. But
It's
the
a crime
model,
if it's not 9. That doesn't work, does it? Oh, Chuds is waving.
The business model's got nothing to do with the entrepreneur individually. The 8 traits rate the entrepreneur's personality, right?
yeah,
A business model is separate to the entrepreneur.
stingy chuds. Stingy chuds.
Spiky Chuds. Ooh,
You have to
don't touch him.
You have to stick to your criteria.
What's that?
A business model is not the entrepreneur, is it?
No.
So the entrepreneur chooses the business. Sorry, Chuds.
Yeah.
He's so handsome as well, isn't he? You can't. He's spiky and he's handsome. I can see why ladies love him, but maybe some fellas. Who knows?
There we go.
It's not over yet. Don't be
I know
looking like
some-
you're summarising.
I know there are some fellas that quite fancy Michael Chudley.
You do? How do you know?
Have you got a love jingle? No, you haven't, have you?
What have I got? No. I guess I can make him like an angel, but that's as good as I can do. This one is called Rim Shot, but I feel like I shouldn't play that. I played it now. Too late.
I think his model is wrong,
Yes.
but the ingredients are there, but they need to be tweaked to be a better model.
Yes. He's got a big audience of people. They're not necessarily your buyers, but you can sell to that audience.
Yeah.
But just sell something different to that audience.
Yeah.
Sell
Okay.
them what they want. You might think they need this, but sell them what they want.
Good. Well, what's next?
You know what time it is.
What time is it? Is there a knock on the door?
Certainly is. Let's go.
It's Jim versus JB on the quiz that's businessy. Business knowledge and it's fun. Which one's clever and which one's dumb? Izzy Wizzy,
Let's get quizzy.
Okay, you won last time.
I did. And you lost.
I lost.
You're the big spoon and I'm the big cup.
I think
Thank
it's
you
my
very
turn
much.
to open.
I think it is. You're right. Go on, then.
Okay, inside this envelope, there is a business quizzy. Let's get busy. Let's get quizzy. Doodly doodly doo.
So if this is the first time you're watching, inside this wax-sealed envelope, there is a business fact. We have to guess the business fact, and then whoever's closer wins a plastic cup.
How many billionaires are there in India?
Oh, it's good.
How many billionaires are there in
Oh, I
India?
like it. Okay.
Billionaires are there in India?
Billionaires.
Big difference between a millionaire and a
Oh,
billionaire.
isn't it? Yeah. James Sinclair's writing down his answers. Michael Chudley looks like he already knows the answer. James Burt hasn't got a clue. And we're back.
What are you going with?
I'm going to go with 3,000.
I'm going to go with the 155.
Oh, blimey.
Judd's
How many people live in India?
over
a billion?
Over a billion.
Okay. Going, 3,000. Chuds, what you reckoning?
94.
94.
But it's between me and you.
94.
Because there's only-
145.
So who's closest to me and you?
Okay.
Okay, here's the answer.
Here's the big reveal, guys.
334 billionaires as of August 2024.
So you win.
I win. But August 2024, industrious Mr.
Easy for you to
Adani, who's pictured here.
Is that him?
I think this was the guy that There's a big famous wedding that literally every world leader
Oh,
went to.
yes. Was it his son's? His son's wedding? Yeah.
And his family secured the top spot in 2024 with the India Rich List with a staggering wealth of, I was going to say, this is in rupees, 11.6 trillion rupees.
Was that equate to?
Who knows? That's equal to around 100. Oh, here we go. 103 billion, 333 million, 936,600 pounds. So I'll just 103 billion, 133 billion is 11.6 trillion rupees.
Wow. Is he the guy who owns
Mr.
Tata
Adani.
Steel? He's
one of them.
that dude?
Yeah. What else to Tata own? Do you know any interesting facts or quote of the week here? What else to Tata own?
They own loads of stuff, don't they?
Hey, go on, give me a.
They own. Don't know. Can't remember.
Jaguar Land Rover.
Do they?
They do.
I did not know that.
Jaguar Land Rover.
Do you think, is it Tata or is it Tata? Makes it sound more friendly, doesn't it?
I think it's Tata.
We're putting a road in here. Oh, you're joking. Who's putting it in? Tata. You wouldn't feel so bad about it, would you?
No. There we go.
Are you going for $1 billion?
Maybe one day.
Is that the goal though? How much?
Just to see who you become on the way.
Is that the whole game for you?
Yeah.
Who do you become?
Who will you become? Not because of the money. Like who the people you meet, the skills you're gonna have to harness.
Have you ever?
And if you're a good person, imagine the positive influence you could have on the planet.
Yeah, very true. Have you ever looked in your bank and gone, bloody hell, that's a big number?
Not at the moment, no.
No, because you're all
millions out every single day.
Millions in, millions out.
I did. I said on I had a million go in one day and 1.1 million go out. That was a horrible day. But it's always like that. Yesterday, it was like 400,000 out in a day, and I just think, oh, give me a break.
But that's the game that you're playing. And you put that like pained face, but this is of your own choosing.
Yeah. And whenever I have an accumulation of cash, I put it to work because it scares the living daylights out of me, having it just sitting there losing money.
Why?
Well, cash is depreciating asset. Cash depreciates, doesn't it?
But if you had hold of it, do you think have you ever made a rash decision because you want to deploy cash too quick? Have you bought like a commercial property really. And it's a bit of a grunter and you're like,
one of my playbooks now is to have 10 or 12 deals on the go at any one time, so only choose.
That you're buying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or 10 or 12 opportunities.
10 or 12? Really?
Yeah, just so I make sure that, I'm choosing the right ones.
What was it you say? Fall in love with the deal, not the opportunity?
Yeah, fall in love with the deal, not that. That's the brilliant.
That's a good quote, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you got 10 or 12 on the go at the moment?
When something comes along and it's a really good deal, James Sinclair will say, I just couldn't help myself.
You said that over breakfast.
Good. Yeah, when the deal is good and the structure of the deal is good and the price is right, it's like, I just can't help myself.
You said earlier, this was quite interesting. You were talking, or maybe it's a previous episode of the podcast. I can't remember because we were batch recording. So we might have said this. This might be 2 weeks ago. This conversation came up, but it came up on the podcast about deals will always come back to you. So you put the price in, you go, that's my price.
Yeah.
And that won't change. What happens in the interim period? So let's say, for example, I know you're in the process of buying something at the moment, and then there's something that you offered on before, but then because of what you've now bought, does the deal do you ever look back at it and go, that's now not a good deal?
Yeah, I mean, you just don't want to overpay for stuff. You just want to pay the right money, be fair and reasonable. Because, things take time, don't they? And there's so many opportunities.
When you were younger and newer to this, did you clutch at opportunities? Because you didn't realise how many were floating about.
I'll tell you what's really changed with James Sinclair is it's better to buy good businesses than
turn around bad ones.
Yeah. I mean, I have bought lots of administration liquidation businesses over my time.
But do you look at them and go, they're in a bad situation, but that doesn't make it a bad business?
They're not for fit. You go, you're buying that business for free, but you put a lot of time, effort, and energy in turning them around, getting them back.
And can you see the good business through the bad situation, if that makes sense? So you've talked quite openly about Party Pieces, saying that you're a big fan of Carol Middleton, what she'd built, and she had to put the wrong maybe management around her.
Correct.
And then you thought they'd done her a disservice. She comes back in and goes, oh my God, what's happened here? But it's too late to save it. So you can see the good business through the bad
Yeah.
situations.
I mean, when I bought Party Pizza, that was one of the ones that was a very good business that lost its way, and it needs effort and energy to bring it back. And I think, it cost us, I don't know, 400,000 to acquire that with time, energy, money down. We won't get our money back for that for a while, I don't think. Then I bought the Rossi Ice Cream Parlour. I paid 1.2 million for it, and it religiously makes £250,000 profit a year. And I've very little to do with it other than I enjoy going there, and we can tweak it and maintain much easier. The one that I'm buying by the time this comes out, bought Cafe Deli Wholesale. I bought that. That's a 40-year-old established business.
How was it?
Makes anywhere between 700,000 and £1 million profit a year. And if you can buy them at the right multiples and you tweak that business by 10 or 20%, the returns can be massive. And when you go and buy a business, you should be thinking, well, yes, I'm buying in the profitability, but is there an opportunity to bolt this into what I've already got in my little world, or can I easily bolt on something else that will explode the profitability? And if you buy something that's losing money, that's from administration liquidation, which I've done many, many times, not to say that that's always been wrong, and sometimes I've really won the day, but sometimes your time going into it is at detriment to other parts of your business.
So how do you balance that then?
We just experience of doing it.
So
I'm going to write a book about it.
So is there ever
And that's
been
why I run the Buying Businesses seminar every year
nice little
to
plug
learn
there?
all of these things.
Go to jamessinclair.net, find out more information and get your ticket. Has there ever been a business where you're like, oh, we should do that? We're going to do that. That's a great opportunity. And your team, especially like Janky and Aaron, who you've mentioned on the podcast multiple times, they are sort of like the overseers of all of your stuff. Have they gone, no, that is good. That is too much sunk time into trying to revive this thing?
Yeah. We're very good at selling stuff off again now, though, if we don't think, or closing things down.
Oh, okay.
If we've got it wrong. But I want us to stay curious and still have a go at things, because it could work really well, couldn't it? But you've got to get, not just time is your best resource. And if you've got your best people looking after the naughty kid in the class, like that's what happens to teachers. Teachers don't focus on the best kids. They focus on the naughty kids, at detriment to the ones that could really go far in education. And that's just the way the system works. But it doesn't have to work like that for your business. And actually saying no to something can be very powerful, and saying, no, this doesn't work. We need to move on.
Well, there you go.
Or tweaking the model. You think about what I'm doing here with the James Sinclair stuff. It started as Entrepreneurs Network doing seminars every 3 months and stuff like that. Actually, now we make YouTube videos, we sell some books, we get some sponsorships, and we do one big seminar a year, business masterclass, and then a couple of others a year, and people pay for me to speak. It's a much better business now. We've tweaked the model.
So sometimes it's not that the business is bad, it's the model that's bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is what we've gone back to full circle to this
and buying
whole episode, I guess.
With good management can be a very good hack. You can buy a business and it's got good intellectual property within the DNA of the business. When I bought Cafe Deli, it had a lot of intellectual property, good people in there that could help my existing businesses. That's very smart.
We should do an episode about how you integrate teams. I think actually like a real world experience of like, how do you take a business that's already doing good things, put your equally brilliant team that are great in a different sector and put them together. Yeah. How do you do that without friction? You should do a letter on that as well.
There we go.
There you go. Awesome. If you've enjoyed today's episode of the podcast, please feel free to let us know. 5 stars is all we accept. We can't accept anything lower, I'm afraid, guys. We give refunds on 4s, 3s, 2s and 1 stars. Only 5 stars. And if you have got some feedback, maybe you're in Cheltenham, maybe you have got a gardening, horticultural kind of business, you've got some advice that you'd like to give our guest today, Marcus, then you can feel free to leave that in the comments as well. But please feel free to, I know we say it all the time, but it actually really, really helps. Like sending this podcast on to someone or giving them some feedback is very useful. We don't charge you a penny for it. It's free. It's my little begging bowl, please. All we need is a review.
Mine, actually.
Oh, yeah, it is, isn't it?
There we go. I'm the winner.
Oh, right. On that note, see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Thanks for watching today, gang. I hope you enjoyed the show. Now, look, we're looking for some great businesses to come on the podcast. If you've got challenges, but you're desperate to grow your business and you can't necessarily work out how to do it on your own, you'll be a perfect candidate to come here on the podcast. It's absolutely free to come on the show. Go to my website, jamessinclair.net, and there's a podcast button. Click on the podcast button, fill in the application form, and we'll do our very best to get you on the show and try and grow your business. If you're loving the podcast, make sure you subscribe to the channel by clicking here. And why not give this one a watch? I think you'll like it.